Okay, so for this question, a bit of sketching for 3 marks, which isn't a bad return. So looking at this equation, I mean, this is of the form, whether it looks like it or not now, this is a y equals 1 over x. So we know that we're going to have a graph that looks a little bit like this, but it's going to have been changed, obviously. So I'm looking at this and straight away we're recognizing that this -1, this has moved the whole graph to the right. All right, this is our dilation factor in this case. Now, really, that's not going to have a great deal of effect on how we sketch it. It's going to mean that instead of being sketched really tight to the axis, it's actually going to move out slightly, but it's not going to do a great deal in terms of our sketch here. It'll only come into it in a bit. And this thing is going to move it up. So because we have asymptotes usually on the x and y axis for this, so usually going down here, well, because it's been moved right 1, we're actually going to get an asymptote down here now. All right, so that's the first thing I'm going to sketch in, and I'm going to say that this asymptote is x is equal to 1. My next asymptote is going to be y is equal to 2. Now here's a little dodgy trick that they pull in these exams, which is the scale of the 2 axes here is slightly different. You'll notice this one, 1 to 5, with only 1 gap in between each one, and here we have 2 spaces. It's just one of those things that they use to check that you're paying attention, I always think. So this is the line y equals 2. So we have one line going off over here. And really the accuracy that we sketch this it's not irrelevant, but it's unnecessary to sketch it too accurately because it's only asked for a label on the x-intercepts with their coordinates and then label any asymptotes. So we've labeled our asymptotes, and that line, really, that section over here now is done. What we need though is this is going to hit some axes at some point. It's going to hit somewhere. And the way that we can work this out is just by looking at the equation and just let x equal 0 and let y equal 0. So we've got 2 over 3, letting x equal 0, take 1, so this is going to give me my y-intercept. So I'm going to get y is equal to 2 plus 3 over -1, which is going to be y is equal to 2, take 3. So the y-intercept is at -1. So at -1, I'm going to intercept. So I'll label that up, 0, -1. And then the other thing that I need to work out is obviously my x-intercepts. This is my y is 0. So I'll get 0 is equal to 2 plus 3 on x take 1. I can move this 2 over to the other side. So I'll get -2 is equal to 3 over x take 1. Times both sides by x take 1, -2. X take 1 is equal to 3. And I'm going to get -2x plus 2 is equal to 3. I'm going to move the x over to the other side. So I get 2 is equal to 3 plus 2x. -1 is equal to 2x. And -1/2 is equal to x. So this tells me that I'm going to be intercepting the x-axis at -1/2, so just here. So I'm going to label this up again, -1/2, 0, and then I'm going to just basically sketch a line that goes through these. I know that I've got no other intercepts because there was no other solutions. And that's it for 3 marks. Not bad. Part A done. So really this is a smart way of them just asking us for the integral between 2 and 4 of f of x. So if we're looking back up at the start of the question, this is 2 plus 3 over x take 1. So 2 plus 3 over x take 1 dx. So as I integrate this, I'm going to get 2x plus, now if you're not too good with your logs, you need to be careful here. Hopefully that should make sense. And we're doing this between 4 and 2. So now I'm just going to substitute in my values. Substituting in 4, I'll get 2, 4 plus 3 log e 4, take 1. And then I'm just going to take away from that, substituting in this 2 value now. So I'll get 2 times 2 plus 3 log 3 log a 2 take 1. And so I'll get 8 plus 3 log a of 3 take 4 take 3 log a of 1. I can keep working this through. Of 8 take the 4 just gives me a 4, and then this 3 log a, I'm going to change this to log a 3 to the power of 3, which is 27. And when I take away 3, and again this 3 log e, I'm just going to make log a to the power of 1, 1 to the power of 3, which is just 1. I'm actually going to, as these get taken away, this just becomes log e 27 over 1, which is just log e 27. So that's my final answer, and I can move on to question 4.